Today's episode, we're diving into part 2 of the YesWelder DP200 pulse welding machine. There's some new parameters and updates for it. Stick around. Alright, welcome back to Fab and Adventures, guys. Today we're doing part 2 of this machine. If you've been following my channel, you would have seen I did a review on this DP200 a couple weeks back. And I've now since got some upload files from YesWelder to update this machine here. So it's supposed to have new aluminum welding parameters. If you've seen in my previous video, the synergy settings were not right, so they're supposed to have been fixed. Also 75-25 gas option should be now in the menu, and a few other things. So we're gonna go through it, do an update, and I'm not real computer savvy. I tried to do it yesterday and I couldn't figure it out. I emailed YesWelder. They got back to me last night with simpler directions for someone like me and probably some of you guys out there on how to update this thing. So I've already done one of the updates and I finally got it figured out and got the update doing it. So there's one more update that's got to go into it. I'll show you guys kind of on the computer what you have to do to put it into a card, and then what you have to do to put it into this machine and update it. So let's hop over to the computer and check that out. Right, so you can see here, sorry about, I don't know how to do screen videos. But you can see my email here. Here is the reply to them, and it's real simple. Here's the newest update. You click on that link. They tell you some of the stuff here. The DP200 cannot recognize flash drives larger than 8 gigabytes. And sure, the following 3 files are on the USB drive. And basically power off the machine, insert flash drive into port 1 and power it on. You'll see the blue screen. Wait till the progress bar is complete. Power it off. Put the card into port 2, turn it back on, the screen will be black, wait for the progress bar to finish, shut it off, and your update should be done. So I've already done the blue screen part. So let's click on this. So it's gonna come up and you can see this upload here, and basically go up to the download portion up on the screen. Up here you can see the download button. Click the download and that will download the file. On my computer went to the downloads file. Okay, so here you can see the download. I opened it up here and it's been unzipped already. So basically you'll highlight it and you'll have an extract option right up here. You click extract and it'll bring you this file that looks unzipped, and you click on that and then you have these 3 files here, and all I did was I took them like that. All right, so you can see the new card here. I basically just highlighted these, drug them down into the new card. I've already got the files in there, so but you would just load them to that card there. Once you have them loaded onto your card here, you can just eject and pull this card out and you're good to put it in your machine. So in the side of your machine, under here, you're gonna have 2 USB-C ports, one there, one there. I've already done the update in the top port. So now we're going to install this into the lower port. And then all that's left to do, I hopefully believe, is to turn it on. It should go black screen. Yeah. and it's doing the update right now. You can see the little progress bar moving up. Once that's done, we should have the newest update on this machine. It's fairly simple actually to do the updates. On this part here, no problem. You stick it in, you turn it on, it does its update. As soon as the progress bar is done, you shut it off and your machine should be updated next time you turn it on. All the new parameters and all that should be in there. For me on the computer side of it, it took a little bit of head scratching, but I figured it out apparently. So I can't wait to try it out with the new parameters. Okay, well, I left this on for a couple of hours. It never goes out of this screen, and it looks like it just gets to the end of its progress scale here and doesn't jump into any other screen. So I'm guessing the update is done. Let's shut her off, see what happens, I guess. All right, let's turn it on and see what we got. So a new beginning screen. See? The update has taken effect. We now have our 75-25 CO2 option, a 90-10, 98, 100% CO2. Oh, okay, so that's all we have because we're under steel. Okay, so we'll select our 75-25. Go back here to steel. We should be able to go to stainless and get our options there. Helium trimix. You should have been able to get a 98 2% option. It's not giving me that option for stainless. 4043 aluminum. Let's see what it gives you here. 100% argon. Doesn't let you do any other options. 5356, probably 100% argon. So we can't access any of these other options for some reason. 98 2% you can't get. Any other options in here? Nope. So that's all we have is steel. Okay. So that seems to work. We're on the steel setting right now anyhow. 035 wire, that should be what's in it. Stainless 2T memory. Let's have a look at the memory. That has supposedly changed. Yeah, so now it has where you can add a note and you can probably call what your memory is. Let's check if there's any different stuff. Gas check still works the same. Pulse on or off. There. Now when we scroll through this screen here, we have it on MIG mode. It's showing you how your ground should be, how your gun should be, your gas setting here tells you what's selected. We select over to the next one. Now we're with spool gun. Shows you wire speed there, or the other two are selected here. Still tells you the same sort of stuff. Flux core, there it tells you to change your ground, and your power wires over need to be grounded. So this is kind of cool. It tells you how you have to set up your front wiring. TIG mode. Yeah, so that's pretty cool that it shows all this stuff now. And it goes through now what all these buttons underneath do. That's pretty cool. It's kind of almost like an instruction manual in here. Oh yeah, cool. Now it even tells you which rollers you're supposed to use for certain materials. The U groove rollers for 035045 aluminum welding only. The V groove rollers 030 and 023 for steel and stainless steel. And the knurled roller you'd use for special for flux core welding wire. Well, that's cool. Yeah, it tells you how to set up the spool gun with nice clear actual pictures. Very cool. Yeah, even tells you step by step how to change your liner in your MIG gun out to the graphene liner for aluminum or back to the steel for steel welding. Very cool. It has its own manual basically built in, step by step, what you need to do. That's really cool. What feeds, wire feed speed, what it does, setting tip. Pretty cool. Even the 2T, 4T, S4T explanations. S4T, special 4 touch, an enhanced 4T mode that includes slope function. Press to start preset, start slope, hold to weld, and release to initiate the preset crater slope before stopping. This mode is useful in application requiring smoother starts and stops. So that's pretty cool now that they explain all this stuff on here. Spot timer, really cool. So it's like a manual. All right, so it's this is pretty cool what it's showing. Dual pulse duty tells you what it does. Tungsten diameters, it's telling you what tungsten diameters to use basically with what DC output when you're TIG welding. Yeah. Even troubleshooting in here. So it is basically, this help center is basically like a on the machine manual. That's very cool. I've never seen that in any, especially any of the other welders I have. I have one that's digital like this, but it doesn't have near this stuff. So it's got troubleshooting in here. Basically what you would find in the manual. Specs. Oh yeah, so then it tells you your specs, your TIG specs. 200 amp max for TIG on 240, 120 amp max on 120, and 60 at 240 volts. You got at 200 amps you got a 25% duty cycle. At 130 amps you got 60% duty cycle. At 100 amps you have 100% duty cycle. And that's in the TIG section. We'll do the next, and there's your stick welding. 180 amp max, 25% duty cycle at 180, 60% at 117 amps, and 100% duty cycle at 90 amps. And on 120 volts, if you're running the machine on 120 volts, you got 25% at 120 amps, 60% at 78 amps, and 100% duty cycle at 60 amps. And the MIG specifications: 200 amp max, 25% at 200 amps, 60% at 130 amps, 100% duty cycle at 100 amps. That's on 240 volts. On 120 volts, you have 25% duty cycle at 120 amps, 60% at 78, and 100% at 60 amps. Pretty cool. And he even shows you all the accessories. Yeah, they color code them. Number 7 is a MIG gun. Number 8 is contact tips, pieces. Graphene liner, number 10. Very cool. Recommended accessories. So it's basically, like I said before, it's basically like a manual right on the machine itself. And you got all your emails, Kickstarter backers, customers, toll-free website, learn more. And then that is it. Cool. Well, let's try a little bit of gas steel welding, and then we'll switch the graphene liner over back to aluminum. I've already welded it with aluminum, and the synergy settings were not right. So let's just check a little bit of welding here and see how it does. All right, well, let's turn the gas on. This is a 75-25 mix. We're just going to try just a little bit of steel to make sure everything is good. Set the steel. Steel 75035. Change the 3/16. Take it down to 16 gauge. And we should be good to go. Maybe that stuff's 14 gauge. Let's try the 14 gauge setting. Very nice. There you can see the piece I just welded there. There's lots of penetration when you're over the gap. And I bumped that up to 14 gauge. I'm guessing this is probably actually 16 gauge material, so yeah. Welds very nice. Okay, let's switch her over to aluminum. All right, so this manual on the machine, it goes through a first time process. So if it's your first time switching it to aluminum, it shows that to you. But since I've already done this, I can skip a few of their steps. And we'll put aluminum wire in this baby. And so I got a brand new roll of 035. Getting a little ahead of myself here. We want a U roller. Here's a U roller. We're going to put the 035 to that side. We'll push our aluminum wire into the graphene liner. And we should be good to feed it. We're going to want to set it up as aluminum, 4043, 100% argon, 035 wire, and we'll find some 12 gauge, which is basically 1/8 inch. That should be our settings. Let me switch the gas over to argon. You know what would be super cool is if they had a 2-line feed on the back of this machine, one for argon and one for your mixed gas. Then you wouldn't have to switch this. If you had 2 lines coming out, you could go a line into your argon, a line into your 75-25 mix, and if it would just automatically switch over there when you select aluminum to steel, that would be so awesome. All you'd have to do is come over here and turn the corresponding bottle on and you'd be set. So let's give ourselves some argon. Now if I just press the trigger, it's going to feed it, but it still only feeds for so long. But if I remember right, you press this button and hold, and it should send your wire out. So now it's sending the wire at a little higher speed. And we should have the wire come out the end of the gun here anytime. Here, I feel it coming up the gun right now. There it is. Flip her over here, do a gas check, because we have 75-25 in there last time. There we go. Got my CFM set up on my regulator. That's coming out. We'll finish the gas check and we're done. All right, we'll give it to be a good fair test, we'll give her a cleaning with acetone. Already wheeled it, gave her a going over with a wire wheel. If you guys don't know, aluminum is can be fairly finicky to weld. It's got to be clean, super clean. A little less picky it seems with MIG, but with a TIG, got to be clean, super clean. Clip the end of the wire off, and we're ready to try our new Synergic settings and just see how close they are. Pretty excited here. Not even close. Not quite sure what went on there on the first one, so let's just try and lay a small bead here and see what happens. Still pretty darn hot, I would say. It's like spraying it on there. It's a little bit better. Dropping the voltage, I dropped it from 22 down to 21. Let's try 20 and a half and 354 wire speed. That sounds better. It's still pretty hot though. We're gonna drop the voltage down to 20. Let's try 19.5 on the voltage. Still pretty darn hot, but man, that weld's nice. Have a gander at that. It's still pretty darn hot, but it welds nice. Let's drop the voltage another half volt. We're welding 12 gauge aluminum, so you'll see my settings here right now. We're gonna drop a half a volt right there. We'll try it again. All right, let's try this again. Plate is pretty hot yet. Let's see what happens. Yeah, nice. Let's try pulling. Still pretty hot. But laid down a nice weld. That thing welds nice. Let's try less voltage yet. Pretty nice. Okay, so I switched it over to 045, 4043, argon 045, 1/8 inch, 2T, and let's just turn the pulse off and try the settings for 045 on flat plate and see what happens. And then we'll try pulse. Yeah, still too hot. 197 wire speed and 20.5 volts. Let's try it 19.5 volts. Still a bit hot. 19 volts. Let's try it right here. Yeah, that's close. I might back it down to 18.5 volts. Try it right here. Not enough. All right, let's try the pulse. And she was starting to burn back. Let's drop our voltage some. Weld's nice. We need more aluminum. Let's go get some more plate. All right, so dual pulse is on. And this frequency here, the dual pulse frequency, that is where it controls the speed on how fast it pulses. 5 hertz is as fast as it'll go, and it's bzz, 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 bzz. It pulses really fast. And at 0 hertz, it's like super slow. So let's try it. I just left the dual pulse base at 50% and the dual pulse duty 50%. I'm guessing base and duty, base being the lower part, duty being the actual welding part, and then base is where she cools back down. Hot, cool, hot, cool. Let's weld something at this 5 hertz and you'll hear how fast it's pulsing. Okay, I'll do about an inch of weld at 5 hertz and show you what it sounds like. All right, we're at 5 hertz. Let's drop it to 4 hertz and see how that sounds. Drop it down to 2 hertz. So as you can see, the hertz at 5, 4, 3, 2 slows your pulses down. So it's similar to when you're TIG welding and you're dabbing the rod. You know, like here you'd be dab, 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 and over here you're dab, 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 moving along like you probably normally would. So it should control the heat in your part some. Pretty cool. Let's play with some other parameters. So we'll go into the pulse on. We'll put the base at 25% of the time. And the duty at 50% of the time. So it should have a 25% less time in the off, so it'll probably sound faster again. So there, we're just getting a bunch of burn back. We'll increase the dual pulse base to 75%. Try it. That's a nice smooth weld, similar to when I'm weaving, but I'm just pushing her straight in. So what you can see here, this was 5 hertz, 4 hertz, 3, 2, and then this one here is 2 hertz, 75%, 50%. And this is the base, and this is the duty. sure like 2 volts too hot. It is welding 1/4 inch, 3/8 aluminum. That's pretty thick aluminum to be welding. Yeah, not bad. You would have normally V-grooved that, but it's gone about 1/4 of the way down through that. Let's try a little less wire speed. See what happens. That's pretty nice. And there you can see 3/8 aluminum. Pretty nice weld. Really nice weld. All right, so there you go. That 3/8 aluminum weld is pretty darn nice. She's still super hot, but I'm loving this machine. It is pretty awesome. The new aluminum parameters are close, but they're still a bit hot. They're at least a couple of volts hot. But I mean, they will keep working with me and other YouTube guys to get these settings right. And the thing welds super nice and clean. Like there's no spatter on there or nothing. When you get it set right, it is really good. Now, if you guys are interested in getting this machine, they're still crowdfunding this machine. The crowdfunding ends on October 28th. So you have until then to get in on the really cheap price on this. And I have a link in the description below where you can go in there and submit your amount of money you want. I think they're like maybe 450 bucks or something like that on crowdfunding. After that, when they are released to Amazon and other places for sale, they're going to be upwards in $600-700 if I remember right for the machine. So you're going to save about 300 bucks if you can get in on the crowdfunding. And so far, the machine has been pretty awesome. They've been really upfront with me, and they've been taking my considerations to heart, and they respond right away to the emails and say, yeah, their engineers are working on the changes and whatnot. So I think this is going to be a really good machine. The adjustability is insane with your pulse, your single pulse and your dual pulse. As you've seen, some of the welding I was doing even on edge with this 1/8 inch. I mean, this is pretty dirty aluminum. I didn't take much time cleaning it up, but on this corner weld, I reduced the wire speed quite a bit and the voltage down a little bit, and I was able to finally get it adjusted to get some nice welds on the corner bead like that, which is something typically I would just hold out and use my TIG on that because you got more control. But man, it does some pretty nice welds on the corner welds, and once you get it set, like you've seen in the video, it lays down some really nice aluminum welds. I'm pretty impressed with the machine so far, and I will continue to work with YesWelder on this machine. I got one more thing to show you. Now, I asked them to send me out some consumables package, and this consumables package is pretty awesome. I got for 035 and 045, I believe, consumables. But look at what you get in this. I mean, you get 2 nozzles. I'll bring it up close here. You get 2 of these nozzles in the kit. You get 2 of the ceramic gas ports in there. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are 035 tips over here. And these will be probably 035 tips here in aluminum. And the nozzle that goes into your gun itself. I mean, these, I've welded for years and I've never burnt one of these out with my other welder, and you get 2 of them with it. These little guys, they're brittle. If you drop them, you'll chip them, or worse, you'll break them. Ask me how I know that. But pretty impressive. See, I've got another package of them here. There you can see the consumables package. I've got 1 for steel, 1 for aluminum. And you can see what comes with it. 2 nozzles, 2 gas orifices here, the insert that goes into the gun that holds your tip. I mean, you get, I don't know how you would wear those out, but you get all that stuff. Consumables package is pretty awesome, and it's beyond what you really need. All right, so that pretty well sums up the part 2 review of this machine, and I'm still impressed. The machine's pretty awesome. I can't wait to see new parameters as they update the machine and whatnot, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's going to take place of my other machine and go on the welding cart from here on out. So if you guys are liking this sort of content, make sure you subscribe, share, like these videos, give me a thumbs up. Catch you on the next episode.